Hi, I'm Rocket from Wreckless Blenders, and welcome to another Musings from Rocket Cellar. How you doing today? I got a couple of things for you. One's going to be an update on our upcoming September Curbside Event, be the last weekend of the month. And the other one is I want to give you an update on bottle splits and how that's been going. First, on Monday it was Labor Day, and I really want to say thank you so much to the frontline, first responders, teachers, essential workers for all that you do. And I'm going to do more than just say some words. Please respond to this. Either respond to this in email if that's how you get this, or send an email to rocket@wrecklessblenders.com. Let me know what kind of essential frontline teacher, what kind of worker you are, and I will respond back with a coupon code for a very nice discount of Wreckless wine. That will be good for all of September. So you can order and pick up on the last Saturday of the month, or you can order and have it shipped to you. We deliver within the Sacramento and San Francisco areas. Right, you can drop by the winery or the East Bay area and pick up. So we have lots of options for you to get wine. And we're really excited about the current lineup. It is just knocking our socks off. So once again, either respond to this if you're getting it in email, or send an email to rocket@wrecklessblenders.com. Let me know what kind of worker you are, and I'll get you a very nice discount code. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that curbside event in just a little bit. I'll just a quick preview. It'll be September 26th, which is the last Saturday of the month, noon to 4 at the winery. And what's kind of cool right now is we're going through harvest. So the last curbside event, which was the last weekend in August, we had just harvested some grapes and we were pressing them. So people got to see what that was like, and they even got to taste the new wine. And no, I'm not going to tell you what the new wine is yet. That's going to be a bigger reveal later. But just know that some pretty cool things coming up in the next year. So when you drop by on September 26th, we'll either be pressing or racking, or I don't know, we'll be doing something for sure, and you'll get a chance to see it. And we're all going to be physically distanced and safe. We've got some pretty good protocols going on. So anyway, I'll re-emphasize this at the end. But for now, what I wanted to do is talk a little bit about bottle splitting. So in my very earliest musings, I talked about how I would split bottles for a variety of reasons. One of them is I've had a party. God, I can't wait to go back and have parties again. And there's a bunch of bottles of wine that have been open, and I want to save them for something. And you know, there's some cases where I just blend them right there into a big bottle and put a cork in it and I'm good. Other cases, there's not enough and I need to put it into smaller bottles. And why do you want to put it into a smaller bottle? Well, when the wine fills up the bottle, the air that the air surface of air to the liquid, the bigger that is, the faster the wine oxidizes. And you've probably had this experience where you've opened up a bottle of wine and a day or 2 or 3 days later you go and you're like, oh, let me have some of that, and it doesn't taste very good. And often it's almost exclusively the oxidation of the wine. So the less surface area you have that can be oxidized, the longer that wine's going to take, is going to live. And so that is why, for example, so let's say I have a 750 and I've drank half of it, or it's been consumed, half of it's been consumed, I should say that better. I could put it into a half bottle. This is a 375 half bottle. And as long as I fill it up to right about there, the top of the neck, there's very little surface area where the air and the wine are interacting. This is going to stay good for quite a long time. So even though this is a temporary cork, right? So you buy these temporary corks, you can get them on Amazon. There's different places you can get them. It doesn't provide as strong of a seal as a regular cork, because a regular cork is larger than the neck of the bottle, so it gets compressed and then pushed down into the neck and then lets go. And so it's got some really good stuff. Well, you can't do that with this because it's, you know, how are you going to compress this? So these are just slightly, you know, right on that edge so that you can, they stay, you know, they stay in place. Anyway, long going on there. But here, this is an option. You know, you take half a bottle and you put it in here and you've got this. And what I've done is I've taken, you know, I'm actively doing it. So let me finish the thought there. So that's reactive. So that's at the end of a party or an end of an event and you want to save some of the wine. Proactive is you know, there's been nights where I've wanted to try 2 or 3 different wines. All right. It used to be long ago, in the olden days, I'd open 3 bottles and I'd pour 3 glasses and then I'd be like, oh, what am I going to do? You know, I can't finish all 3 bottles. Yeah. So I didn't plan very well. Well, I got some of these 375 bottles and that was good, but that's half a bottle. So now I have 3 half bottles. And what do you do with that? So what I've done to help with that is to get some, and I'm on the lookout for these size bottles anytime, right? So whether they're gifts or whether they're in the store or whether they're something that, you know, that other kinds of liquid things come in, I'm looking for them. But this is some gin bottles that I got as a birthday present earlier in the year, and oh, it was fantastic gin. And as soon as it was finished, I'm like, oh my God, that's a great size bottle. This is 200 milliliters. It's perfect. It's, you know, basically one decent sized glass of wine, and that's perfect. So what I could do is I take 375, 575, right? So now I have 125 milliliters or so of wine that is available. So you have, you know, 3 big bottles, 3 sets of these, and you're pretty good. And you can have 1 big glass of these 3 wines. That's still a lot. So it's like, oh, okay, well, you know, Miss Rocket, we'll share it, we'll taste it, we'll do some vertical tasting, whatever. All right, so that was a little, little iffy. So I then picked up these 8-ounce growlers. Now this is pretty cool because this is a little over 2 glasses. It's, you know, 8 ounces. So the idea here is I could do this and have a little bit less of this available, right? So it's, you know, whatever. You do the math. You figure this out yourself for whatever works for you. But like today, I said, okay, what I wanted to do was have a glass of rosé. So I split it, and then I end up with, you know, this glass here and this, and it's perfect. And what's cool about the growlers is the seal is pretty strong. So I don't feel bad at all of having, you know, leaving this in the fridge with a rosé in it for a pretty decent period of time. So there's all sorts of tricks you can do with this. Now, one of the things that I've been doing over this time where we're staying at home is I'll put a piece of tape on the bottle, and then I'll write. I'm going to continue this, by the way. This is definitely a long-term thing. And I'll write the date and then a little code for what the wine is. And then the next time I fill it up, I'll cross out the previous one, put the new one in. And what's really cool is this just happened is this right here is a brand new round of tape because I finished one, and what I ended up with looks like, well, I didn't do, not this I learned later, you know, being really clean about it, but so what you see here is, you know, there's a little bit of tape, white tape, and then a bunch of blue tape, and blue tape is really good, by the way. So this, you know, you can put blue tape on these. The hard part about blue tape on it is it's a little harder to read. Whatever, right? Put it under the light, it's fine. But, you know, I can go back and I can see the history of all the wines that were in this bottle. That's pretty cool, right? So, I mean, like, this was started on April 4th, 2020. Now, that feels like either yesterday or about 10 years ago. Depends on my mood at the moment. But I put in some Zen. right, that I was that I was trying at the time. Go forward, and then there's some May. There's a few dates in May that I had some Barbera and some Touriga, right? Pretty cool. And then right July 2nd, I had a 17 Barbera, and some Syrah. Anyway, it's kind of a neat little thing at the end of this. You can, especially with painter's tape, or this is gaffer's tape, which is just a kind of a stickier, heavier thing that's used in stage productions and in AV. And you can peel that off, and if you have something you can stick it on, boom, there you go. You can see a little history. I don't know how long I'm going to do this, but it was fun. Okay, so one thing I did want to mention is we're going to make another rosé this year. So last year we made one. It was much dark. It was a darker rosé, and there was reasons for that. I'm going to do a full segment on rosé itself. It's got a bad rap over the years, mostly probably because of the white Zen, and it's been sweet, and a lot of people don't think it's sophisticated. Well, I've been kind of digging into rosé, and I've set myself some challenges. I want to do 3 different types of rosés with 3 different grapes, and I want to understand the characteristics, and it's pretty interesting. Now, a lot of wineries just do a rosé because they want to say they have a rosé, but there's several wineries out there that I've discovered that are deliberately creating fantastic rosés. We want to do that this year. We want to do something really special, and we want to make this a tradition because it turns out rosé is just so wonderful for so many occasions, right? The beginning of the evening, on a hot day. It's been really, really hot here in Northern California for the last month, and that's a great time to have a nice chilled rosé. So there's different alcohol levels, right? So one of the things I learned is I thought that most rosés were 12%, 12.5% alcohol. Well, recently, as I've given myself these challenges of, all right, I'm gonna try 3 rosés a week and just see what I like, there's definitely some higher end alcohol rosés out there, and it's just kind of knocked me back a little bit because you get a 14.7, 14.9, 14.7% is what I mean by that alcohol. And you have a glass of that and you're like, maybe I can feel my nose, I don't know. It's going numb, that's for sure. So we're definitely on the lower end alcohol camp. We don't want to overpower it with alcohol. There's been an instance or two, and that's across all of our wines, right? So we try and keep things 13.5 is right where, it varies up and down a little bit there. And we've had one wine come out to be 15.5, and that was a surprise to everybody. That was the Primitivo last year. Turns out Primitivo is just high in alcohol, period. And we had to triple check the alcohol content on that one, but that's neither here nor there. So we're definitely going to look for a lighter set on the alcohol side. I'll talk about how the contact with the skins influences the coloring, and how long in traditional rosés stay on the skins and all that kind of stuff. We'll be talking about that because the next time I do one of these, likely I'll have some footage from when we make the rosé, so I'll be able to incorporate some of that. Oh, and speaking of footage, man, gosh, I'm all over the map here. I interviewed JT, master winemaker, PhD, mad scientist, at the winery recently, and it's a lot of footage, and it was our first time doing this, and it was an experiment, and I'm hoping I can pull some really interesting tidbits out and incorporate that into these going forward, because he talked about the different measurements that we take around the wine during harvest, particularly. How much acidity is in the wine, how much sugar is in the wine, what the alcohol content is. All these are different things that pH that we're looking to measure, and we have a whole series of things that play into this, and we try and get to a relatively common set of numbers every year, so that we have a known starting point, and then we let the grapes tell us what to do with the wines. We don't try and tell them what to do. It's like trying to tell Mother Nature, don't rain, right? And if Mother Nature wants to rain, Mother Nature's going to rain. It's very similar to trying to tell grapes to do something that they're not willing to do. And that's definitely not us. We let the grapes tell us this is what to do, and then we hear that, and we orchestrate the flavors during blending so that the best flavors come out. Right, so waxing poetic a little bit there. But I will return back to the bottle splitting. I'll just do a quick summary. You can get these $3.75 half bottles. Amazon, there's a whole bunch of them out there. There's also places that sell glass bottles you can look for. But if you don't know, just start on Amazon, order 6 of these, and I think they're reasonably priced. Look for either ones that come with the removable cork, or look for those removable corks, right? If I would also, at the same time, if you're doing this, get some of these 8-ounce growlers. They are perfect for this, and they're really sturdy. I just picked these up recently, and I've had nothing but good luck with them. It's really exciting. Then the last tip is, as you're encountering different bottles, either at gatherings or in the store or as gifts or whatever, if you see something really interesting and you think that might be a good way, especially the smaller size, pick them up, put them aside, wash them out really good 2 or 3 times, run them through the dishwasher, whatever you feel like is good, and then put a little piece of tape on them and try them out as a good bottle split mechanism. So as we finish up this musings, I just wanted to say we have the September 26th event coming up, and that's the last Sunday, or Saturday, sorry, that's the last Saturday of the month, and noon to 4, just swing by. Some people got a little anxious about getting there by 4. We're usually hanging out until 5-ish, but try and get there by 4. And you can order wine there at the winery. I'll take care of you. You can also order it ahead of time. And we're going to keep the stay at home coupon code for the rest of the month at least. That's 20% off. Just a reminder, if you're a frontline worker, an essential worker, a teacher, a first responder, let me know. And I'll get you a coupon code you can use for even bigger discounts. I'm really excited about that one. So anyway, so September 26th, noon to 4-ish, drop by. We'll take care of you at the next Curbside event. I think we're going to do these until it's okay to get back together and do an in-person event. And we might even continue to do them, I'm not going to say indefinitely, but through the end of the year for sure. And even if we do have an in-person event, because what we found is people love being able to drop by, have a conversation, try some of the wines if that's possible. Sometimes it is, and then be able to pick some up right then and there. Right. Thanks again for watching. I'm Rocket from Wreckless Blenders. This has been another Musings from Rocket Cellar.